second reaction video for today, and another Nostalgia Critic video. And yes, it's something Nostalgia-ween, because, yep, as of this month, Nostalgia-ween, of course, has begun, and the first Nostalgia-ween video that came out this month is the Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House. Yes, and of course, yep, that's what I'm reacting to. You read the title. Yeah, okay, well, first off, I'd like to point out, as of now, and with the Nostalgia Critic's review of Coraline out, Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House is the last Nostalgia Critic video where Doug Walker, he was recording Nostalgia Critic videos at his house, because for quite a while, the Channel Awesome Studio, I assume it's the Channel Awesome Studio, if I'm correct, like, it was down for repairs because, like, something was up with the ceilings, and of course, you know, they established it. It was established in one of the Nostalgia Critic videos, but as of now, the studio is all patched up and it's doing perfectly well, and now they're back at the studio making Nostalgia Critic videos. Yep. So it's nice to see them back at the studio. So again, Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House being the last Nostalgia Critic video where, you know, Doug shot this in his house, and, you know, the fact that this is the first and last Nostalgia-ween video where it takes place at Doug's house, you know. But yeah, Monster House, okay, with that out of the way, Monster House, you know, I gotta say, it's an interesting and fun and entertaining, you know, Halloweenish animated film. Golly, I remember back, you know, the good old days of Cartoon Network, and may Cartoon Network rest in peace. I remember when, you know, Cartoon Network aired Monster House, and, well, obviously, like, it was around October, and I remember watching it, and it was around the time when, in 2008, when Star Wars The Clone Wars was going to, you know, begin. And I remember, like, during commercial break, like, Clone Wars would pop up, you know, and if you guys had been there, and if any of you remember that, you know, but I remember it very well. I remember, like, you know, Monster House and Zathura were being aired on Cartoon Network around the time when Clone Wars was soon to begin. Yeah. And yeah, Cartoon Network airing Monster House was the first time I had seen the movie. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, like, I gotta say, the first time I saw it, I guess I was a bit disturbed, you know? I mean, any kid, young kid, would be a little bit scared of the movie. Golly, especially Steve Buscemi's character, you know, and the fact that this is motion capture, and a very interesting style of motion capture, I gotta say. The animation, that is, you know? And looking at the behind-the-scenes of Monster House, especially Steve Buscemi, when you look at Steve Buscemi with, like, those, like, dots around his face, you know, for motion capture, the faces he makes, terrifying, I tell ya. And of course, yeah, Steve Buscemi, he's no stranger to animation, so yeah. So I'm looking forward to see what the Nostalgia Critic has to say about Monster House. I mean, he's talked about it a little bit. If I recall, like, yeah, he featured it in a top 11 list, you know, during Nostalgia-ween, so yeah. And by the way, obviously, for, you know, every year, and for Nostalgia-ween, there's always a new intro, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the intro is this time. And also, heads up, I have a snack with me, as I sometimes do. Alright, so, with all that being said, we shall begin the Nostalgia Critic video, and of course, you know, expect ads to play. We shall begin the video in 3, 2, 1, play.
This episode brought to you by Prize Picks. Fantasy sports made easy. Also brought to you by DoorDash. The app that brings you food you're craving right now, right to your door.
Alright, what's the intro? Of course, it's all the cast members. And there's Chester. But where's the other female cast member? What's her face?
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to.
In the coat.
Welcome to Nostalgia Wave. Still at my house. Still at my goddamn house while the studio is still being fixed up. I feel like this place is just eating me up. You can guess what the segue is.
Yeah. But you will be back in the studio in the next video.
When the writers of Rick and Morty mixed with the writer of Nine and Corpse Bride? Family-friendly entertainment, of course. Monster House was released in 2006, produced by Steven Spielberg, and using Robert Zemeckis' motion capture animation at the time. And boy, does that show. Okay, it's not like Polar Express AI art trying to eat you, but we can all agree this is another one of those movies where things never quite looked or moved right. But to the film's credit, that kind of works in its favor. Monster House is certainly a freaky and unique idea about a house that literally eats people. It sounds like a story you will make up as kids, so it only makes sense kids will be at the center of it. Critical response being mostly positive in the box office, not doing great, but combined with overseas, it bounced out alright.
Yeah.
It is getting a following around this time of year for being a family-friendly Halloween movie that kids can watch, but still has enough of a bite and oddness to it that makes it stand out. Sometimes even over 15 years later, this oddness still helps it out, or if it just leaves it. So from another house, I swear it's trying to keep me trapped here. This is Monster House.
It's okay, Doug. Again, you'll be back at the studio, as I said.
Confused. What season does this take place in? We open on a kid.
Autumn?
A creepy old house owned by a creepy old man named Nevercracker, which almost sounds like a combination of slurs.
Nevercrabber.
He's played by, in case you couldn't guess, Steve Buscemi.
Yep.
I suppose the animators were sick of hearing he's the ugliest cute since Gollum that they finally just made him look like Gollum.
I think that could be the thumbnail.
A boy named DJ, who documents all the toys the old man takes from
Hope I
kids
timed
who
that.
trespass on his property. His friend Chowder is visiting as his parents are heading out of town.
Catherine O'Hara and Fred Willer voicing the parents.
But as a combination of every fat kid in movies, this disturbs me. Like I mentioned before,
Yeah, that's true.
Distracting, but I think it works better in this than Polar Express because it's not at all trying to look real. Where Polar Express tried to combine kids' book illustrations with real life, this one feels like it's only trying to do the kids' book illustrations. So the style isn't quite as Frankenstein Uncanny Valley, or the equivalent of one Flash movie. I don't know why, but this kid's a movie laugh out of me.
Look, my nose is in my brain. Let me see. Oh my god. What? You're a dork.
My doctor was right.
Pretty much.
I'm really mean. The basketball bounces over to Nevercracker's lawn. And just as DJ tries to retrieve it, Nevercracker tries to retrieve him just as God tries to retrieve Nevercracker. Please, I thought the only death in these movies was the box office for Mars Needs Moms. The house, quite frankly, uses a fire effect I'm pretty sure I have, and instantly seems to come to life.
Yep. After what happened to him.
It's pretty cool how quickly the house seems to form a personality. Like how this cracked window looks like it's trying to slit DJ's throat. It's like the haunting remake of it was intentionally a kid's cartoon. The babysitter named Z arrives, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal. And much like the house, almost everybody in this is some kind of monster.
Why'd you break that? But I didn't. Now, ask me something. Who are they gonna believe?
These characters are making the Home Alone family look sweet.
And an ad. Yeah, what, like, I guess, like, the parents, like, they had no idea what babysitter they hired. You know what I'm saying? When, like, what happens to Steve Buscemi's character, you know, he just, like, I guess, like, has a stroke or something, and then he just collapses on top of, you know, the kid, what's his name? I mean, that is disturbing, don't you think? And, like, it's right at your face. It's right at the kid's face. Like, you know. All right. An ad, so. Oh, my gosh. And one more thing, because, like, yeah, I mean, what he said about the motion capture, about Polar Express, like, the difference between the motion capture with this and Polar Express, well, the Polar Express motion capture animation doesn't bother me. I mean, does it to you? I don't know, because, you know, I have no problem with it.
Gillette
Alright, back to it.
We're keeping a pretty imaginative and pretty creepy moment when a very familiar shadow makes its way into his room.
I forgot about this part.
DJ, the house is coming from inside the house. It doesn't help that makes literal house calls too.
Hello?
Do you have Prince Albert in a can? Do people still know what that is? See, as our boyfriend
Pennywise.
Albert, played by Jason Lee, because that was the law. You literally couldn't shoot anything without Jason Lee back then. And he's about
The
as
Incredibles.
as he is. Did you know he was
Oh, man,
serious?
give her back.
You might.
Oh, come on, gross!
I have a Lola Bunny doll for that! Bones is thrown out of the house. The other house is more than happy to take him in, taunting him with the kind Nevercracker took when he was a child.
Jason Lee gave him like a dude voice, you know.
That's the last you'll ever see of Jason Lee again. No, really, look him up. Where to go? Meets up with Chowder and they go
True.
inspect the house to see if Nevercracker really is back from the grave. The house literally tries to eat him up though, and they go back home.
I just like the part where he's like, you know, a bottle, help, a bottle.
There's a sinister-looking kid I want you to see. We're then introduced to Jenny, a kid selling candy for her school, and apparently is a pretty good saleswoman.
Parents left you $40 in emergency. They left me 30. You give me 20. I write a receipt for 30, and you pocket 10.
Good.
I can spend that on the ponies. You gamble too? These ponies, I'm like 12. She makes her way to the next house, and DJ and Chowder try to stop her.
Come here. Yes, over here.
Are you guys mentally challenged? If you are, I'm certified to teach you baseball.
I thought the 80s and 90s were the decades to find clips that didn't age well. I guess Charlie's Angels came out around the same time. The house tries to gobble her up, but they save her just in time.
Maybe it's, well, no, the sequel, because...
Tell that house it clearly just so haunting you to stop lying. It's not haunted.
You want to tell me what's going on?
They bring her up to speed on what's going on with the house, while also trying to unimpressively impress her.
Did you drink any beer? Well, hello there.
I was just busy making this a PG movie. I can say up to 3 bad words, too.
Two-term class president at Westbrook Prep.
There's a great taco stand near there.
I hate Mexican food.
Me too.
Dumper. Weirdly, there's nothing more American than loving Mexican food, and for some reason, Taco Bell. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it's also very American.
Just sits there waiting, mocking us with its business.
May I please use your phone?
What you just saw is a training video for how to handle a Russell.
That duck poster.
The house continues to gobble
Poor
things
dog.
up, so they call the cops, played by Nick Cannon and Kevin James.
Yep.
We have reason to believe that there's a dangerous creature inside that house.
Problem is, it sounds kind of not real. If that house is alive, then I'm the president of the United States. God, that almost sounds sensible now.
What movie was that?
Expert.
Was that again?
A guy named Skull, played by John Heater, who they consider the smartest guy in the world. And as you can already see, that seems very unlikely. Or maybe he was until he met this guy. Let a strike at the source of life.
Wait, for real? Like,
You might be right.
cool.
That's not true. You just have to get it some Homesack, and soon it'll be the house from Encanto.
Okay.
You're entering a world that looks familiar. A world that has
Twilight
situations
Zone.
fly by that you think you understand, but you probably don't. A world where spinny things go really, really, really woo. A world where
I just want to see where this is going.
strange way through their teeth, but you don't question it because everything else is weird. You're entering the sponsorship. Submitted for your approval. Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned.
Alright. I just wanted to see, because, like, okay. Obviously, yeah, a Twilight Zone parody, so... You know, and the fact that, any of you that follow Channel Awesome, you should know, because, you know, they've been doing, the Twilight Tober Zone, yeah. Pretty cool, actually. Walter, one of the members of Channel Awesome and, you know, part of Nostalgia Critic, has, you know, his own video content on Channel Awesome. Like, he's done this, you know, Twilight Tober Zone, and, Batmay. So, that's pretty cool, because diving in every single, episode from the Batman animated series, of course, talking about the 90s Batman series, and the Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone. Alright. So, what else was I gonna say? But yeah, again, I just wanted to see because yeah, with this being a Twilight Zone parody that Doug Walker was doing, I just wanted to see like what that was like, and But anyways, all right, enough said. Back to it. Nah.
So the kids try to start with the heart and figure since the flame is always burning, the furnace must be the heart.
If we want to put out the fire, we're gonna have to go inside.
I legit love this plan they come up with for how to sneak in without getting gobbled up.
We fill the dummy with a few gallons of cold medicine. Feed the dummy to the house eats the medicine, house goes to sleep. Look at this. Get in there, douse the fire, and get out.
I think it just needs a painted tunnel on a wall to run through, but aside from that, very sound logic. They start playing the plan together. We zoom in on this very unimpressive picture. Why does he keep that? Oh, for a scene transition. Got it. And a Toy Story 2, their way to the house.
Yep.
Don't be scared. That's not how I trained you. I love you, vacuum cleaner dummy.
I'm glad these characters are fictional, because I don't want to think about what they do when they're alone. Cops ruin the plan, though, and end up getting eaten instead. I am okay with this. A little of them goes a long way. At least this one.
Drop your weapons. You hear that? DVD, you guys are going to jail. You tested me? Hot Top Girl, we're super cops.
Do you doubt this is one of Nick Cannon's higher-rated performances? Oh, yes it is.
That is amazing.
I can see it.
I'm not a big jump scare guy. I think most of them are pretty lame, but I do laugh at how well this one's timed out.
Just try to stay calm, okay? We'll get him out if we just stay calm.
It's no Exorcist 3, but it's Exorcist 3 Junior. God, now I'm just wondering what that production would be like. The house heats up the car, but the kids get out before they're torn to shreds. The house seems unaware they're inside, and they try sneaking around without waking it up.
DJ, did you ever see a wife?
No, but I heard he posed for a photo series called American Goddamn.
Dear, what are you shooting?
Okay.
They get scared and shoot their super soakers. No, really. What did they think those were going to do? And they start to put together the layout of the house.
Those are the teeth, and that's the tongue. And that must be the uvula. So it's a girl house.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Make their way downstairs where
Kind
they
of, I
all
guess.
the toys that were taken over the years. They find his wife Constance, or at least her body encased in cement, and apparently he built a secret shrine to her.
Why would he build her a shrine if he murdered her?
Okay, I really love this movie. Could it just been about a haunted house that eats people? Honestly, that would have been enough, but they're very smart to put in a lot of unexpected turns. For a kid's movie, it's not exactly the easiest to figure out, and I really like that.
Yeah. And where did, like, the two policemen and Bones go?
No, surely it was big boned. The house wakes up, and in a shot that's so cool, I actually had to rewind it to see how it worked. The kids discover it's using the reflection of the windows to shine light on them.
Oh.
This is like the scary toy room in Polar Express if it was like half the movie. They get the house to gag up and spit them out. God, so many moments in this review almost sound dirty. And we're given what I consider a really good twist. Like, I legit did not see this coming. Nevercracker is still alive.
Honey, I'm home.
That's right. The house was actually his dead wife, Constance, the whole time.
Oh, but it's no problem, sweetheart.
The ambulance is out there. Is
I
parked.
don't care if this is a kid's movie, that is a really good twist. In a flashback, we see she was the fat lady at a circus, and Nevercracker's heart went out to her for being so mistreated. And thus, they ran away together.
This was a good sequence.
Yes.
And backstory.
Constance is voiced by Kathleen Turner, which is so funny seeing her going from a seductive, calm, sexy animated
That's right.
to a rage
It's Jessica Rabbit.
freak show. And she matches them both perfectly.
It's Halloween. No, it's my house, and they're hurting me. As long as I'm here, I will never let anyone hurt you.
There's also, in kind of a strange way, a very sweet romance in here. You feel like these two didn't have many people that looked out for them. And you do feel bad whenever she's made fun of and he instantly comes in to try to protect her. With that said,
Yeah.
it still keeps its dark and humorous edge when you see how she's done in. It's always convenient when you can combine the cause of death with the burial ritual. So Constance ends up hating Halloween because she associates it with how she died. And Nevercracker tries scaring kids away literally for their own good.
I know you've been protecting us all these
Yep.
years. But now it's our turn
with his life. No big surprise, Constance freaks out and tries to attack. The way the trees connect to the house as arms to make it move is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
It's fun seeing how this monster changes and evolves throughout the movie.
And terrifying. An ad. Okay, and I wanted to also point this out, because, yeah, Doug had a good point because of, Constance, yeah. Like, how she was treated and not treated well. I'm sure the same goes for Nebcracker, if I am saying his name correctly, because I'm sure he was not treated very well, and just, I mean, after all, because when the flashback and backstory of, you know, how he fell in love with her, like, because he was just, like, you know, just in awe, and everybody else around him was just, like, laughing and pointing at him. So, yeah, that, I think that's a good example right there. So, you know, yeah. And as I said, the ambulance is parked right there. Like, clearly someone is driving the ambulance, and, like, is the ambulance driver aware of what's happening and is seeing the house alive? Like, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, it's one of those things that's never established, so, you know. Let me go back just a little bit. So, you know, an ad, of course, randomly popped up, so, you know.
Changes and evolves throughout the movie. Oh, no. Oh. Sweet. Oh, don't rub there. That's her. You know, I don't want to imagine what's wrong with this thing anymore.
Oh, Doug.
He tries blowing up the house, hoping it will allow her soul to move on, but once again, big shock, she doesn't like that, so the kids try to help him out.
Take this. You have to help me, please.
Man, lovely explosives and heavy machinery? Remember when talking about beers was the most concerning part of this PG movie? So they throw the dynamite in the chimney to finally blow up the house, and...
That happens.
Okay.
But...
No, of course that doesn't work because monster movies, and I'll be honest, the climax goes on a little bit. It's not bad or anything, it's just kind of your generic, typical fare that, weirdly, a movie with this good a script doesn't feel that creative. Even when the house takes a different shape, it's not as much fun as the first design.
But...
It kind of looks like one of those prickly stress balls you had as a kid. So you're just kind of waiting for the usual stuff to happen, with people running, jumping, screaming, swinging on things.
But the house is more terrifying looking.
Go on forever. The dynamite is finally tossed into the chimney, blowing up the house for good. Nebcracker is heartbroken, but he also finds joy in the both of them being released from their misery. Yeah, I think it's kind of an odd moment to sort out.
Well, he's happy.
The trick-or-treaters, they get back all the toys the house took over the years, just as DJ's parents return home.
Hey, thanks.
After all that time Chowder tried to get his basketball back from the house, we get a pretty funny payoff.
See.
I think I like baseball now. They finally decide to go trick-or-treating, and to make all the parents happy, all the people gobbled up are free during the credits.
You wanna
Yep.
inspect some candy, huh? You should go eat some candy, too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But still, this movie's pretty good.
They don't care if they got
I
eaten,
can't put
like...
it up there with the other Halloween cartoons I watch every year, but the script is much smarter than it has a right to be. It's a wildly imaginative idea, and though a touch dated, the animation still has enough style to be enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Halloween movie I watch every year, but maybe every 5 years I'll pop it in and watch it again. Because let's face it, it's a great script with a bright premise, and my guess is, it still has a bright future. Not that I have much of one still doing nostalgia wings here at my house. I mean, by God, how long do I have to keep filming them here? What is that? What is it? Oh my God, it's to be continued!
Yep.
I love you, vacuum cleaner dummy.
You have to end it off. You had to end it off right there.
This month for cameos for charity?
Okay, and that's it. Well, that was good. That was a good review on Monster House from Nostalgia Critic. Yeah, a pretty good Nostalgia Critic video. Yeah. All right. Well, enough said. Jump cut to my thoughts now. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House. Yes, and again, it was a good Nostalgia Critic video, a good review on Monster House, what Doug, aka Nostalgia Critic, had to say on Monster House. Yeah, I think what he said about Monster House, very well said, yeah. Yeah, and all the stuff, of course, stuff that Doug Walker, aka the Critic, would sometimes point out. In the climax, he didn't, bring up the part where, the girl kisses what's-his-face, and, he's like, he says, I kissed a girl, like, he didn't bring that up and didn't say anything about that. And the fact that, and as I, when, we see the human characters, we see them, they're alive, and, they didn't get killed or eaten by the monster house, from the two cops and Bones and the dog. They're perfectly alright, and, they don't care that what the heck happened to them and the experience they had getting gobbled up and swallowed by the monster house, and even at one point, because the babysitter left, and and also, here's a fun fact, because if I'm correct, the writer of Monster House, one of the writers, years later, would go on to team up with Jason Reitman, the son of the late Ivan Reitman, to bring back Ghostbusters with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Yeah, so I'm sure some of you probably didn't know that one of the writers of Monster House would get involved in bringing back Ghostbusters. Yeah, and the writer and Jason Reitman, they did a heck of a good job bringing back the franchise. Yep. Again, because the motion capture, the motion capture animation, I should say, its style for this movie, again, it has an interesting style, and, it works for this movie. And again, what Doug, aka the Nostalgia Critic, says about the motion capture animation, about, the Polar Express, or say, other motion capture films from Robert Zemeckis' motion capture studio, from, say, A Christmas Carol, Mars Needs Moms, and the fact those two films are straight from Disney. I don't know, I'm not complaining about their motion capture animation. It's fine, to Doug Walker and to anybody, it's their opinion how they feel about the motion capture animation. Could be, creepy, Yeah, and the jokes in Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House that he did were funny, of course, the Simpsons 1, and, other mentionings of the Polar Express, you name it, yeah. But yeah, overall, it was, again, a good review from the Nostalgia Critic. His review of Monster House, again, very well done. Everything that he talked about of this movie, being a pretty good and decent Halloweenish film, and, the fact that, Monster House, one more thing I'd like to mention, Monster House was lucky enough to get nominated for Best Animated Feature, but of course, it didn't win, alongside with Disney and Pixar's Cars. Happy Feet won Best Animated Feature, yeah. And no disrespect, of course, to Happy Feet, But yeah, so again, a good Nostalgia Critic video, his review on Monster House, as I said. So what about you guys? What did you think of the video itself of the Nostalgia Critic's review of Monster House? What did you think of my reaction? Leave comments, and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critics review of Monster House. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video /reaction. Take care, and peace out.